artist, icon, rock star. And now, Billy Corgan is about to become a husband. But before we get to the story behind the ring going on his finger, we should probably mention the other ring in Billy's life. Because Billy is also a wrestling promoter.
And now I'm the narrator too.
Excuse me?
Thanks, I've got it from here. In 2017, I followed my passion and bought the historic National Wrestling Alliance.
Smashing Pumpkins? He owns it?
He's like signing the paychecks.
Thank you for last night. Good work.
My goal?
Before Billy, the NWA wasn't really going anywhere.
To return it back to the exciting,
It's super punk rock.
dynamic,
How can you not want to see that?
and world-class promotion I know it can be.
Billy doesn't have to do this. He's doing it out of love and passion for pro wrestling.
But if you think that means I've tapped out on my music life, you'd be wrong. I'm still releasing tons of records
This is really an incredible time for the band. We're just loving the music.
and touring
It's like throwing yourself off a cliff.
whilst juggling 2 kids and a tee shot with my beautiful partner of 11 years,
Why are we not agreeable on a honeymoon?
who, yes, I also happen to be planning an elaborate wedding with.
We should be the flower girls.
No.
If only she'd fall in love with the NWA.
I'm always butting heads with Chloe. Kill me.
Have I lost my mind?
Maybe, maybe not.
I say yes, some say no. But don't count me out just yet, for I was born for this carnival life. And soon, the National Wrestling Alliance will be coming to a town near you. All right, let's see if I can handle this voiceover deal. Is this mic on? Oh, and there we are. My band, that is. There's Jimmy, James, Jeff, and Jack. And there I am. I'm William Patrick Corgan, otherwise known as Billy. We are the Smashing Pumpkins. Odds are you might have heard of us. But in case you haven't, Allison's a music journalist.
I love music and I love you.
And a friend and fan, so I'll let her fill you in about why we still rock or something like that.
The Smashing Pumpkins helped shape the course of alternative rock and culture forever.
You see, I'm not completely crazy. I do have a day job.
The 90s were a renaissance for alternative rock, and the Smashing Pumpkins played an integral role in that. They didn't sound like anyone else. And Billy Corgan was just his own thing.
Anyway,
They've sold over 30 million albums worldwide. Melancholy and Infinite Sadness, it was their magnum opus, and they've been nominated for a Grammy nearly a dozen times. They've taken home 2. They had reached such commercial and critical acclaim.
Which has mostly been great, but in the music pizzazz, everybody knows.
Longevity is really key here.
And lucky as stars, that's exactly what we've had.
like a phoenix rising from the ashes.
The band is as strong as ever. You know, they've just put out Autumn, a 33-song rock opera.
We've got 3 songs on the charts for the first time in a long time, since maybe Melancholy, that we've had, that kind of success.
A success that can only be owed to decades of hard work. But I'd be lying if I said it was easy.
Especially as bands get older, they have lives, they have families, they have wrestling companies.
You heard him right, but Jeff doesn't own a wrestling company. And neither does Jimmy.
Yeah, it's not really my thing.
And although he does have at least a passing interest in the sport,
A friend of mine from Japan took me to a wrestling event in New York City once. I bought a t-shirt.
James doesn't own a wrestling company either, which leaves me.
Good morning.
But that requires even more commitment and hard work.
Sorry, brother.
Why would I do that?
Well,
NWA wrestling fans, let's start this thing off right.
That's the main thing.
My love of professional wrestling comes from an era of the 1970s where the NWA was the predominant organization in the world. So my vision of professional wrestling was the NWA.
If you didn't grow up knowing the NWA, you would kind of just assume that WWE, that's where all of the history of professional wrestling resides in America. And that's just not the case.
The NWA represented a bunch of different territories around the country, and they all kind of fed into the National Wrestling Alliance, the alliance being the key word. It was an alliance of different factions, different owners.
You know it, and I know it, and the people of Houston know it.
But the NWA started having problems somewhere probably in the 60s. Some of the territories broke off and started new promotions, so the NWA power structure was sort of weakened. One former NWA territory that became WWF at the time sucked up talent and eventually started to surpass the NWA. You see the growth of what became satellite/cable media.
My mama be watching all the time.
And as the years passed, the WWE grew into a behemoth while the NWA soldiered on, a diminished version of itself. When I purchased the NWA, it was essentially on its last legs. It had no cultural relevance, it had no buzz, there was no stars. It was like you're buying 3 worthless letters.
It had been handled by different people who didn't see the potential of what Billy sees.
I believe in what the NWA stands for. It represents its history of 75 years, but also all those other promotions that have gone out of business, sort of being eaten up by the behemoth that became WWE. And now I can bring back this old school brand that the culture in many ways has decided is no longer valuable. The goal is to bring the NWA back to the top level of professional wrestling, which sounds absolutely, utterly crazy.
I mean, the man's committed. Whether you take it as the intent of he's really dedicated to what he's doing or he should get help, I'll leave that up to you.
You talking about me?
Yes.
But I was told that the things that I cared about in music were no longer relevant, and we brought those back and we made those mainstream again. So I believe I can do the same thing with wrestling. But I can't do this alone, which is why I've had to assemble a team as obsessed with wrestling as I am. All right. Good morning. Is anybody not here that should be here? And let's get on with the show.
Morning.
Morning.
And today we're assembled to prep for one of our biggest events of the year.
All right, so we've got a lot of matches today.
The annual 2-day Crockett Cup Tag Team Wrestling Tournament. But before we get into that, you should probably get acquainted with some of the people making it all happen. Take, for example, Sherry.
Are you serious?
Affectionately known as the NWA Den Mother.
Basically, they're my little children. Couple things. We'll have catering. I feed them. I break up fights, wipe tears. If you need anything, it's probably my job, so just come and find me. I take care of all these crazy people.
And then there's Pat.
My name is Pat Kenny, and I am the Director of Talent Relations. Familiarize yourself with where the truck is before the show begins. I deal with contracts. I have to deal with hiring people. I have to deal with firing people. And just keeping everybody level-headed and making it work. I'm sorry. This is my life.
Looks like Pat can't talk right now, but that's okay. I've got someone who can. Because that's actually his job.
Hi there, my name's Joe Galley. I do commentary.
And his as well.
My name is Kyle Davis. I'm a ring announcer.
I want to punch everybody in the mouth. Hell, I might punch you in the mouth. Please don't, please don't, please don't.
But I didn't just hire Joe and Kyle to be announcers.
Joe and myself are not only on camera representing the company, but behind the scenes helping run the National Wrestling Alliance.
All of operations, you know, making sure that it's lit well and that there's good mics and that we've got good talent and that we're in a good building and that we've sold tickets to enough people. And it's like putting out a lot of little fires.
And there's never a shortage of little fires behind the scenes. For example,
we don't have a fucking bell today.
But the heart and soul of this operation,
everything's cool,
are the wrestlers. And you're going to get to know a whole bunch of them.
If you look at the NWA, it's populated with really talented people who come from all these diverse backgrounds. I see something in them, and I'm willing to give them a stage and pay tens of thousands of dollars to give them an opportunity to hopefully build a business.
And when I say building the business, I mean building the business.
You got it. You got it.
No one's too good to get their hands dirty in the NWA, including the stars of the show, who build the rings before they step into them. And as for those who've stepped out of the ring for good, I need them too.
Jazz, because we got so many tag matches, let's tell a completely different story, like just overwhelm them physically.
Gotcha. I'm Jazz. I'm a producer here at the NWA. Billy bought the company while I was NWA Women's World Champion.
That experience in the ring has made Jazz all the more effective as a mentor to our NWA talent.
And I understand because I'm a wrestler first before I'm a producer.
Especially when it comes to our female talent.
When you walked down the ramp, people knew they were going to get their ass beat.
Yes.
Who represent the fastest growing sector in pro wrestling today. A sector that Jazz's generation laid the groundwork for.
Women are seen as complete equals in terms of draw, but also in terms of toughness.
Which gives us so many more opportunities for great stories. In and out of the ring.
The best money is made off of storylines. We're sort of applying that trade again, and we're starting to gain ground with that.
And telling great wrestling stories for women is a lot easier than it was back in Jazz's day.
There wasn't many women as we have now. That's why I had to wrestle Pat Kenny.
AKA Simon Diamond.
Right, did I forget to mention that Pat is also a former professional wrestler? And yes, he and Jazz, well, they do have a history.
And Jazz is going out after him!
It seems like it was like 2 weeks ago. It's 30 years.
Pat ran off, he ran away.
Scared, he got scared.
Well, who can blame him?
You're nothing but a
But by far the most important members of the NWA family are the fans.
They're everything. That's what keeps us going.
We have to have the right crowd with the right amount of energy, and that gives the talent energy, and then that goes back and forth.
But we're not the big guys, so maintaining that energy can sometimes prove challenging.
What I want is 7,000 people at this event. We're going to do this, we're going to do that. We're not there yet.
Just envision this place packed.
Yeah. The greatest indictment of our front office right now is our inability to consistently sell tickets. When I bought the NWA, I had two simple choices. I could buy a pre-existing brand and inherit whatever that brand was worth, or I could start Billy Corgan Wrestling. I made the decision that it was more valuable to take something that existed and that some of those fans from the 80s would have come back. Not so simple.
Doing the legwork to boost our attendance is certainly more than I can handle on my own. So I've had to lean on Kyle and Joe. But so far, promoting hasn't been their strongest suit.
The general excuse I hear is we have all these other things on our plate. You're asking us to do something that we don't know how to do.
I'm making Billy Corgan happy. But sometimes he changes minds, comes up with things on the fly, which is very stressful.
There's only so many hours in the day.
I wish I had a solution. We've got the talent, we've got the personality, we've got it all. And for some reason, people just aren't letting it click with them.
But where the criticism really hits is they don't go out into the market and find people who can do it.
The ironic part is, I do know who can do it, and it's this man.
Essentially, I think Kyle and Joe are draining Billy's pockets. You know what I'm saying?
But I can't hire him because, well, I just got rid of him.
Sorta.
My name is Brian Idol, and I'm a wrestler for the NWA.
Are you a wrestler for the NWA?
I used to be a wrestler for the NWA. I've run my own wrestling company for about 17 years. On top of that, I've run wrestling schools that have trained people for every major wrestling promotion in the world.
I do like to push you guys a little bit. That's what you're here for.
Brian Idol, who was the greatest ticket seller that we had, he understands the most effective way to get on the ground, work with local talent, and bring people through the door where they'll actually pay to see a show. But Brian is a polemic figure who attracts a certain level of kind of dissension.
I don't work well with others, and people don't like me.
So he had to go.
I don't think I was that popular. And I think that stems from, number one, the way I look. You know, to some wrestlers, I'm probably a threat. But Billy made a mistake pulling me off the NWA because Joe Galley and Kyle Davis are not capable, they're not qualified, and I can do their jobs better than them. If asses aren't in seats and people aren't enjoying the show, what are we doing this for?
He's not wrong. But if I bring Brian Idol back into the fold, I'd be going against the entire NWA office.
I can help save this whole thing, man.
Maybe. But there is one event that's guaranteed to be a full house, where I don't need to worry about ticket sales. The highly anticipated event of the year. It's my upcoming wedding to Chloe.
I'd rather talk about wrestling, but keep going.
And on the topic of organizing the wedding, it's my fiancée, Chloe, who's got me in a metaphorical headlock.
Told you it was going to be.
Well, I know. I just want to make sure you ordered it. That's all. I'm Chloe Mandel, and I guess I'm Billy Corgan's fiance. My official title is I make the magic happen.
Chloe is a really special person, and Billy was always looking for that intellectual match, and it's amazing to see what that relationship has become.
We've been together for 11 years. We have 2 kids together. Our lives are very enmeshed. We have multiple businesses together.
And one of those businesses is right here in this very cafe.
We are at Madame Zuzu's. It's a plant-based emporium, venue, art studio. I kind of oversee all of the daily operations and the growth of the business. I help oversee a lot of the Smashing Pumpkins, let's say, collaborations and back-end things. Our life is really good. It's really good. Like
our life without wrestling is really good. That's true.
And I also somehow help with NWA.
So I think she's a good addition to his life because Billy, on top of everything, he's a workaholic. He works a lot. He always okay, I gotta do this, I gotta do that, I gotta do that. So I think them together combined is actually a good combo.
To say Chloe is integral to everything that happens here in Carnyland
You're in the circus.
is an understatement. However, there is something that's probably worth mentioning.
My partner, Chloe, doesn't give a fuck about wrestling.
I had no clue what wrestling was before I met Billy. And he took me to an indie show, and I thought, why the hell are we here? Yeah, it was not for me.
But she supports my endeavor in it, and that's what makes a beautiful relationship.
Marrying me, you could say, means marrying into my NWA family and my actual family. You'll meet my brother at the wedding.
Yeah.
And luckily, Chloe's brood is a little less, rowdy.
The beautiful thing about marrying someone as wonderful as Chloe from such a great family is you embrace the individuals in the family as well.
But getting them to embrace me, well, I think we're getting there with that too. Maybe.
Do you really want your daughter to get married with a rock star? Not really, At the beginning, when they met, it was kind of like I didn't understand fully what was going on. This rock star. I mean, your dad.
But Gilles isn't just any dad.
I don't know how Gilles does what he does. He's a total genius.
My dad is a world-renowned fashion star. He's one of the most talented people in the world, so I grew up around someone who's passionate, talented, and really shined in the industry and was celebrated. So yes, there are similarities with my father and Billy. They're very different people, but they are passionate about what they do. They are extremely talented, hardworking.
Right after her engagement, she and I started to communicate about this idea of doing this dress. Very emotional for me. I mean, how many dads can design a dress for their daughter? I mean, here I am, the one doing it.
So as Gilles and Chloe spend time collaborating on the wedding preparations, Chloe and I just collaborate and spend.
You could argue, though, the wedding's a form of charity. It's all the people we're paying.
This is write-off.
It's not a write-off.
He's the one who wants the wedding. I was ready for City Hall.
I look forward to getting married, but I look forward to stop talking about getting married.
Only 7 more episodes to go.
All right, good morning. Is anybody not here that should be here?
Now that you've met everyone, we can get back to what's currently the most pressing matter at hand, the 2023 Crockett Cup Tag Team Tournament.
The Crockett Cup is NWA.
It started in 1986 as a tribute to Jim Crockett Sr., who was a very historic promoter in the National Wrestling Alliance. It was started by his son.
We have David Crockett of the Crockett family in the building, representing the spiritual legacy of this tournament. And so with the permission of the family, we were able to refire this legacy some 30 years later.
I am very honored that they have not forgotten us. They have not forgotten the caliber of wrestling that we presented to them.
Welcome to the Crockett Cup.
With this being the third year since I rebooted the Crockett Cup, its legacy has never been more vibrant or relevant.
Merchandise. If you have stuff you want to set it up, there's tables in here, there's tables out there. Even if you don't have stuff to sell, go out and say hi to the fans. They're here to support you, build your brand.
And the stakes at hand cannot be underestimated.
It's got to be the most prestigious tag team tournament ever.
He's gonna look his best, because when you look your best, you do your best.
It will elevate whatever team wins it to world title opportunities.
28 teams will be vying for the historic cup this weekend. And there's one team I'm particularly impressed by.
All right, Knox and Murdoch.
My name is Trevor Murdoch.
My name is Mike Knox.
He originally came in and beat the hell out of me. Like, his introduction into the company was jumping me when I was world champion, trying to go after a world title shot. So after a while, we got to talking. We both, realized it's better that we be on the same team than be opposite of each other.
In the Crockett Cup, as with any wrestling event, every wrestler has a story that needs to be told. My role here is to orchestrate the overall arc of the character and the story they're telling to help them, get over with the fans.
Which means get them more attention, more oxygen, which translates into business.
Knox and Murdoch's story will be one that figures heavily into this year's Crockett Cup, and getting them over is one of my top priorities.
All right, 7'4" shy guy.
Thanks, boss.
You know what to do. Thanks, Billy.
The team has been putting the work in, and I couldn't be happier about how the show is coming together. But if there's one thing that has me worried about this weekend, it's, you guessed it, attendance. We've taken all that time and effort to put it all together, and the response from the local community is... Advanced ticket sales haven't been great. And now the walk-up sales I was hoping Joe and Kyle would drum up haven't materialized. I never thought I'd say this, but I think I'm starting to miss Brian Idol.
What a disaster.
I'm just hoping something magical happens in the next 5 hours and that this place is packed.
Joe, Kyle, you should be scared, because now I am going to take your job.